So, let's talk about something we all use literally every second of our digital lives, but almost never actually see. We're going to pull back the curtain on digital infrastructure, the secret skeleton that holds everything together.
I mean, how true is this? You never ever think about your Wi-Fi, your internet, any of it, until that video starts to buffer or an email just won't send. And then bam, it is suddenly the most important and most frustrating thing in your world. All right, so let's stick with that plumbing analogy. It's time to grab our tools and take a closer look at what's really going on inside those invisible pipes.
At its heart, this is what we're talking about. It's not just one thing. It's the whole collection of stuff, both physical and virtual, that lets us do everything we do online. It is the how behind every single click, every tap, and every swipe.
So let's unpack that a little bit. First, you've got the hardware. You know, the stuff you can actually touch, like the servers humming away in a data center. Then there's the software that tells all that hardware what to do. Of course, you've got the cables and the Wi-Fi signals that actually carry the data. And more, we're talking about the cloud, that virtual infrastructure we all rent from giants like Amazon and Google.
Okay, now for the fun part. To really get how these pieces work together, I think it helps to give them some personality. So let's meet the key players in the hardware game. We're going to call them the Avengers of Connectivity.
First up in our squad, we have let's just say they're the most enthusiastic member of the team, and maybe the least subtle.
And yeah, that quote pretty much nails a hub's entire personality. It's a super basic connector. When a piece of information comes into it, it doesn't think, it just shouts that information out to every single device connected to it.
So you can probably see the problem here, right? It's just wildly inefficient. That reply all analogy is perfect. It creates these huge traffic jams on the network, we call them bottlenecks, and oh boy, it's a security nightmare, because everyone can see everyone else's data. You really won't find these in any modern network for good reason.
Thankfully, technology didn't stop there. The team got an upgrade. Next on the scene, we have the real brains of the local operation.
And that right there is the game changer. A switch is way more intelligent. It doesn't just scream into the void. It actually pays attention to who is connected and where they are.
So here's the magic trick. A switch learns the unique address, the MAC address, of every single device plugged into it. Think of it like a permanent mailing address for your computer. So when a piece of data comes in that's meant for your laptop, the switch sends it only to your laptop. This makes everything private and super efficient. They come in two flavors, a simple plug-and-play version and a more complex, manageable one that lets the pros customize all the settings.
Okay, but what happens when you need to send something to a device that isn't on your local network, like, the rest of the world? Well, for that, you've got to call in the team leader, the one who sees the big picture.
This really is the big job. A router is like a master travel agent for all your data. It's the device that connects your own private little network to the huge public world of the internet.
So the router takes your entire local network, all those devices chatting happily through the switch, and connects it to the outside world. It is constantly calculating the fastest, most efficient path for your data to take across the internet. It really is the ultimate traffic cop for the information superhighway.
This chart just brings it all together beautifully. You've got the hub, our low-intelligence broadcaster, you've got the switch, our smart local director, and you've got the router, the high-level navigator that connects everything. Each one plays a totally different but totally vital role.
So we've met the players. Now let's see how they actually play the game. How does your request to watch, a silly cat video actually get from your computer to a server hundreds of miles away and back again?
Well, your data doesn't travel in one giant piece. First, as you see in step 1, it gets chopped up into these small bite-sized pieces called packets. Then, in step 2, each one gets labeled with an address, just like a letter you'd put in the mail. For step 3, if it's going somewhere local, your switch directs that packet to the right device. And finally, in step 4, to get out to the big wide internet, your router navigates the best path for it to take across the globe. And all of this happens millions of times a second. It's kind of mind-blowing.
Okay, theory is great, but honestly, the best way to really get something is to try and build it yourself. So let's do a quick, practical challenge.
I want you to imagine you're the tech expert on this. They've handed you this project. The room is full of brand new equipment. How are you going to make it all talk to each other?
So here's what you've got to work with. 10 computers, a couple of printers, a server for everyone to share files, Wi-Fi, and of course that all-important connection to the internet.
So how would you use our squad? Well, it's actually pretty straightforward when you think about it.
You use a switch, our smart one, to create the local lab network connecting all those PCs, printers, and the server. Then you'd use a router, the navigator, to act as the one and only gateway, connecting that entire lab to the internet. See? The Avengers assemble and the job gets done.
So the setup seems simple enough, but let's circle all the way back to where we started. This stuff isn't foolproof. Sooner or later, the plumbing breaks. And when it does, how we fix it is just as important as how we built it in the first place.
And this brings us to one final, really crucial point. Managing all this tech isn't just about the hardware, it's about the people and the process for fixing it when it inevitably fails. So I'll leave you with this question to chew on. When things go wrong and the pressure is on to get things working again, which stage of fixing that problem do you think most teams are tempted to skip? And what's the real long-term cost of doing that? It's definitely something to think about.